2018, he signed a 3-year, $54 million contract with the Jaguars through the 2020 season. I don't know how he finagled that, but hey, it is what it is. You can say all you want about, well, Matt, they almost made the Super Bowl like you just talked about. That's why they gave him the deal. But let me remind you, Bortles didn't even have that good of a season. He was just okay. But I get it. If you don't re-sign Bortles, who are you going to get in? That's a great rebuttal. Regardless of how I feel about it, they brought Bortles back, and they got off to a good start. They started the 2018 season 3-1. But only a few weeks later, Bortles was throwing the ball over left and right, whether it be interceptions or fumbling again, and they benched him against Texas.
Okay, we got that home field advantage.
If you were to look up the definition of a walk receiver, there'd be a picture of Blake Bortles right next to him. Let's talk about interceptions, guys. He was fumbling the ball every other play. He did at one point in time regain the starting job back, but the game started that year. He was really it was completion percentage.
Get ref.
You might know where we're going with this Jaguars. Yeah, this is not our guy. We'll let him give him a 3-year, $54 million extension. We got this. They let him go, but the Rams don't march on 15. They would take him off. Nothing worth talking about happened there. He was back.
Oh my God, Colo. 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 Colo.
He didn't get released by the Rams, but they're putting their game with them. He was
Nah. Whatever, aggressive. I wouldn't even matter if he would have missed that, bro.
He's just there as a practice squad guy. He's an emergency quarterback. They were put a game on him, releasing him in late in December. He got picked up on the Saints. And all around that, really, 2020, 2021, season, nobody heard about this. It's not like he was back.
Oh my God. I just the block. The not so.
Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody heard anything about him. And then he randomly goes on a podcast and says this, quote unquote, I didn't tell anybody I retired. A couple months ago, probably. Just didn't tell anyone. But I guess you guys are kind of the first to hear it publicly. Maybe. That's what he said. So when he announced it on a podcast, that was the first time anybody had any confirmation that Bortles had retired. If you gotta ask me, number one, I think it's more money. And number two, I think that's the best way to go out because he wasn't seeking attention or anything like that. He just wanted to disappear, and disappear he did. Think about it. You had guys on the podcast asking him, hey, how's the NFL career going, or what's next? He's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell the world that, what? It's crazy. You got 50, 60, $70 million, you don't care. And he didn't care, and I don't blame him because he got no he says,
There's no way he made that, bro. Fucking used his whole power for that shot.
Because he doesn't want any information out there. That is the best way to go out. Make $50 million, disappear. That's the game plan. That's how you do it. Get your money, get out. Don't let anybody know anything about your personal life. What you got going on. Stay out of trouble. Like you say, working with golf team every day. You gotta ask me. Okay, here's the thing. You can say what you want about his NFL career or his football abilities.
Oh my God, Paulini. A brace in the ACL. That curve. Top of the bin.
Well, let's go back to his football. Was he a great NFL quarterback? Absolutely not. Was he a good? No, absolutely not. That's my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. But you know what he was? You can't take this away from him. He was average. He was average NFL quarterback. Had his ups, had his downs, had his bright moments, had his good moments, but also had his fair share of bad moments and bad plays. Wasn't very consistent, couldn't avoid the disastrous plays, and that's why he's been playing in the NFL for about roughly 5 years. So good God Almighty, I guarantee it is. He has zero regrets whatsoever. He's in essence just average quarterback, and he got paid roughly $50, $60 million his entire career. And it wasn't even a 15-year career. He only worked for about 5 years. I would talk much respect to him, to Blake Bortles. Somehow, somewhere seen this video, my brother. Hope you're enjoying our time. Any more things I can say when we're up here? Just, Michigan State is an awful college football team and program. But nearly 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. They were one of the, I'm not going to call them powerhouses, but premier programs in all the sports. Year in and year out, they were routinely a top 10 team. And this guy, you're looking at right here, led them to a 13-1 record, a roll of Ohio State. 13. How about this? In his second year as a starter in 2014, they went 11-2 and won the Cotton Bowl against top-5 ranked Baylor. And then the year after that, he led Michigan State through the playoffs. You know, yeah, by the way, he beat Ohio State again. There's not many people walking on the planet that can say they beat Ohio State. Not one. And I think the quarterback credits to the Bill Pitts right there. Beat Ohio State twice. And maybe not just the Monday playoff, but the 4-team playoff. Have a very successful NFL career. Not exactly. Let's just say things were set. And myself out.
What the phone? What the?
Back to the one. And one big question before I get to the bottom of today's video. What really happened? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night whenever you're watching this. If not, just make it look better and better.
Oh my God, man! Oh, what a shot it took! Bro, that came out of nowhere. It came like a torpedo. Oh my God.
Starting at an 84 overall grade for what's the best way of saying this? It isn't exactly a team's chomping at the bit to get you. Most people view him as he did a great job.
Oh, it's coming up.
That's most certainly what you like to see in a quarter. In 2011, he took a red shirt, and in 2012, backup quarter. See, it did play a little bit because of got banned, no primary backup.
Okay, Marcolo. Gotta shoot that. Great interception.
This was his name, and he helped lead them to the huge upset over Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship that year. Michigan, yes, their past year, did his part, fortunately his part, he followed it up. And for the Royals, 22-36, 330 passing yards, as you see, the ball down the field, 2 touchdowns, 19 QBR rating, up to 5. Take that. What was doing all the research for this video, so they're going to I really think he was late. Look at the game manager. I think he was more than that. He could go out there and win you a game. He could, I've thought multiple times. With Michigan State capping off that great 2013 season, obviously heading into 2014, being his second year as a starter, there was some heavy expectations. You need to put didn't start off hot because they got thumped by Oregon 46-27 in the second game of the season. I'll say they get revenge that season, they went 37, but hey, Cook did his part. You put up 37, I took 2013, 2014, 2015, around that time frame, you'd expect to win that. And I'm going to keep showing you these numbers so you get it engraved in your head. This guy could play. He wasn't a game manager. He had 350 passing yards in that loss. Make no mistakes about it. Cook was a really good passer. They wound up winning the rest of the games that year. They made it to a Cotton Bowl where they upset Baylor 42-41. I realize I didn't show you his numbers as a sophomore starting, so we'll just show you both of them now. His sophomore and junior season. In 2013, as a redshirt sophomore in 14 games played, he completed 59% of his passes, had, we'll round up, 2,800 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 69 TDs. In 2014, the season we just talked about, he completed 58% of his passes, State, 2015, they got revenge on both of them. Beat 7th-ranked Oregon 31-28, and also beat number 3 ranked Ohio State at Ohio State 17-14. You know what I just realized? I know in the intro I said Connor Cook beat Ohio State twice. It just hit me. He didn't play the game against Ohio State that year. I forgot about that. Well, yeah, I guess that's an error on my part, but we're going to leave this video. Hey, I made mistakes too. For everybody that made they may be wrong about this, you know, they didn't watch the entire video. But technically, Connor Cook did beat him twice because he's still on the team. He is still play the starter in that game. But anyways, continuing along here, Connor Cook, Michigan State, they make it to the college football playoff as the 3 seed. That's great news.
Man, what a topic. That was a good slide tag.
Bad news was gave it to the playoff. Sandy, bad news, you gotta play.
Oof. I thought he would have saved that. That looked like a savable. That looked hella savable. That was so savable, bro.
They thought he maxed that. And that's a good thing. That's actually incredible. Because most people in this life, they don't get near their potential, whether it be in their everyday life or sports or anything they do. But Connor Cook was viewed as an average quarterback prospect. That's how teams looked at him. They said, yeah, he's good, but we don't think we can get any better than what he was at Michigan State.
Oh my God.
Madison. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. How they look at it, they like to go to guys that have
outside the box.
Like a Lamar
What?
Jackson,
It's
guys like that already been near their ceiling. Is it risky? Sure, but that's what they like to go at. Or if you're a very solidified guy, like heading into this year's draft, Fernando Mendoza, they're going to go after him because he's very accurate. There's not a lot of balls in his game. Well, unfortunately for Connor Cook, there was nothing about his game that was great. And y'all know what that saying is. I think it's something like it's better to be a master of one thing than just be a jack of all trades. And that holds true. Connor Cook didn't have a great arm. He didn't read defense well. He wasn't a very accurate passer. Just like we talked about. All in all, not a great prospect. A decent prospect, but not anything special. Teams weren't really high on him, and that's why he fell all the way down to the 4th round with the 100th overall pick to the Oakland Raiders. Nobody expected Cook to play because he was listed as the 3rd pick on the depth chart. But when Carr in the back of the car got hurt, he was thrown into action. They still wound up losing the game, but he went 14-21, had 150 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Here's where things get funny. It's really interesting. He's the 3rd stringer, but remember, the 2 guys ahead of him, they're still hurt, but the Raiders make the playoffs. For the first time in the Super Bowl era in NFL history, Connor Cook's first start as a quarterback in the National Football League was in a playoff game. How about that? This was huge for his career. This is your make-or-break moment. As a 3rd stringer and a 4th-round pick, teams really didn't believe in you heading into the draft. Heck, the team that drafted you wasn't too high on you in the first place. This is your chance to prove to the entire National Football League that everyone was wrong about you. And you go out here and you do something like, we'll say you go 27 for 35, 3 touchdowns, 300 passing yards, you may get a contract elsewhere. Obviously, it's much easier said than done, but if he would have had a good playoff game, we know it could have changed his life. We've seen it before. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If you're hoping that happened, it didn't. As a matter of fact, it was a complete opposite. To say he was awful would be understating it. He was beyond atrocious. Wasn't even close to completing 50% of his passes. He went 18 for 45. Yikes, never like to see that. Had 160 passing yards, 1 touchdown, to 3 interceptions. They wound up losing the game, and he didn't have to be a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together. This was probably the start to the beginning of his downfall for his NFL career. In 2017, he didn't play, so there's not anything to say for that season. Fast forward time into September 2018 is when he got released. The Carolina Panthers would pick him up and sign him to the practice squad. They were released only a month later. then got picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals, and the same thing happened. In 2019, he signed a reserve/future contract with the Lions, but in the summer following, he was released. And by the way, to clarify, while all this is going on, I know we're just kind of skimming through it, he's not even getting close to sniffing the field. But in 2020, get a load of this, the XFL would have their draft. He was selected in the first round with the second overall pick. Hey, that's great news. You would think the second overall pick, even with being an actual draft, it was the starting quarterback job. Just like the man that meant the legend before so says, ain't so fast, my friend. He lost the quarterback job to DJ. Did that really matter too much? I mean, no, because the league that's the big overreaction. After that ended, he already knew. He said, yeah, this is the end of my professional career. That's what he did. He went back to Ohio and got a chance for himself. Speaking of this video, that is what he's still doing till this day. He's very successful. I know this video is what he did, but yeah. He's an insurance salesman. That's what he was last joking at it. Bringing up the video. Oh, this guy's a good insurance salesman. Hey, they make good money. But here's what I'm thinking. Was a player, which is that's my goal. That's why I didn't work in the NFL. So he just wasn't good enough. Wasn't character problem. Didn't get any off the field problems. Just wasn't good. Plain. And I know this wasn't a very long video, but it was off the field. There's not much to talk about outside of that. Connor Cook really doesn't have a controversial story or career or anything of that nature. But yeah, man, China Connor Cook, wish him best of luck and everything you do for this seeing his brother. Congratulations. That's up to this point. Let me know your thoughts down below. But that was, we're about to get into one of my favorite things of the week. We're about to tell you everything you need to know heading into March Madness. You make it a little bit better and man, you know, man. I'm so excited. The job as a college basketball. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. I can speak for you, but I can speak for myself. I've had an absolute blast keeping up with college basketball this entire regular season. As most of you may or may not know, not only am I an Alabama football fan, I'm an Alabama basketball fan as well. And we've had a really good year. I'm pretty happy with what we've done. We really lived on the transfer portal. We don't have a true center. We don't have a lot of depth. And here we are. We're a top 15 team, and we're going to get a 3 or 4 seed. Hey, our coaches have to get games done an incredible process. We got contact with it. Let me clarify. I'm clapping my right hand. Also, too, I just saw this. Shout out to Michael on one of the recent videos. He super chatted. $200 That's insane. I don't even know what more to say to that than this right here. Thank you, brother. That is completely unnecessary, but greatly appreciated. That will go to a good cause. But let's get down to business. We haven't talked about college basketball really at all until this first video. And it's going to be honest with you, I will. That's because most people don't even care to watch college basketball content or videos until, what do you know, March Madness rolls around, and that's where we are. Chaos is about to ensue. We're entering conference tournament play, and some conferences have already started. Some of your mid-majors out there. I would say most people out there watching this video, you really haven't kept up with the regular season for all these things in college basketball. Fortunately enough for you, I have. I'm going to give you a brief summary. Here's what you need to know. In my humble opinion, similar to last year, we got a big four. Here's your 1 seeds, and they have by far, if you got to ask me, separating themselves from the field. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and Florida. They're the best 4 teams in the country, and I don't even think it's Duke Florida. UConn is a really, really good team, but I'm not sold on them like I am with Florida, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke. They didn't have what I was saying, but they're a really good team. They can make a run with certainty. Houston, of course, they're always in there. UConn, Iowa State, Michigan State, Illinois, these are your 2, 3, and 4 seeds. Alabama, they'll probably get a 3 or 4 seed, more likely a 3 seed. Then you got Kansas. Hey, when Peterson's playing, I think they can play with anybody, but here's the problem. He hasn't been playing. Not really going to get into the Darren Peters situation too much. That's a different video for a different video. I don't even feel like talking about it. It's a bizarre situation. What's more intriguing to me is the jump. St. Joe. They struggled early on in the year. Lost to Alabama, lost to Kentucky. Everybody wrote a problem. And, you know, they've just got their interesting thing. I'll say my sleeper, and I'm not just talking about a sleeper to make it to the Elite Eight. This is my sleeper to make it to the Final Four, potentially win it. I love that. A couple of the best players, not one of the best players in the nation, and they have great size. And that's a recipe for success when it comes to winning the tournament. My team, for example, Alabama, we don't have a shot in the dark because we're winning our tournament. The way Nate Oates built this team, we just can't win it all because we don't have a great front court. We don't have great center court. Our guards are great. Aiden Alwayne, Bylon, everybody, Amari Allen, they've been great up until this point. But what is Alabama cricket? Florida, they have great size. Could Alabama sneak into the Final Four? Sure, but they just can't win it. It's not going to happen. But I think a team like Arkansas, they have the potential to do that. Going down the list here, I'm not high on Purdue. Grayson Smith, the most overrated guard in the country. Fletcher Lawyer, he's not that good either if you could ask me. North Carolina, that bust because their star player, he got hurt. We got the undefeated Miami of Ohio. I'm probably going to make a separate video talking about them. Very interesting. They're undefeated. Can they win it all? Actually, no, that's not going to happen. St. Mary's, Vanderbilt, is going to the top of the five. That's it. I would argue and say I've watched more college basketball than anybody this year. And the gap from 1 through 4 is almost teams like Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida, they're just so much better than the rest of the field. It's not even could all 4 of these teams get upset on any given night? Absolutely. I don't see it happening. Like when I watch, let's say, UConn play, or even Houston, say any team out there, your 2, 3, and 4 seeds that potentially give these guys a run for money, I just don't see it. So where am I going here with this? That's a great question, my friend. You know what happened last year? I believe it was the first time in history, maybe the second or third time. We had all 4 1 seeds make the Final Four. I think there's a good chance of that happening again. Is that fun for us, the fans, for March Madness sake? No, not really, because we want to see upsets. We want to see the 1 seed go down. However, I'm advising you before we talk about all this bracket stuff. You need to watch these 2 Arizona, Michigan, Florida games so you can see what I'm talking about. They're on our level. Getting that out the way, we just summed up the regular season a little bit because we didn't even talk about the regular season until the past couple of months on this channel. We're about to get into one of my favorite things to look at. What I'm about to tell you next tells you everything you need to know heading into March Madness. So if you haven't really been keeping on college basketball, this video is for you because it's going to tell you who has a shot of winning the national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, you will have to get in. Oh, please. Hey, well, I like I heard some cool sound effect. The trapezoid of excellence. Big shout out to the guy who has been making this. I believe it's been for at least 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years now at this point. Ryan Hampton on Twitter. He has a great Twitter where he's always updating things and he's talking great stuff over there. Shout out to him. I'll show his username right here. Shoot him a follow. Like I was saying, every single year he creates his trapezoid of excellence. And no, this is not his opinion or anything. This is based off of cold hard facts. You're going to see all these teams on this graph and we'll talk about a bunch of them. If you're on the left-hand side of it, you like to slow the game down. If you're on the right-hand side of it, you like to speed it up. Your pace of play is through the roof. Like we see every year, they're always by themselves. On the very far right, who do we got? Clap on your hands, by the way. Clap it up to NATO. They always go by line. They are the unicorn. This isn't any brand new information or knowledge. I've been looking at the trapezoid excellence for years now. Alabama has never even been close. Ideally, you like to be in it because history has shown us to win a national championship, you have to be within the trapezoid of excellence. If you don't know what
shit. Hold on, bro. I should have got blue screen, though.
Great combination of both. Pace of play is